two technical teams that have come together here. You've got two players from the Xbox scene coming over here. You've also got the dual lane from Noble staying together for this Noble roster, and then Stealth has been added in. Enemy keeping the same squad apart from addition to the solo lane.
Yeah, this is, we're going to have a different solo laner over there for Enemy. Mr. Mackey was with the team throughout relegation, but as he said on Twitter publicly, hey, look, man, I'm just a coach. Good thing they have a different player over there in the solo lane.
His name, I believe, is Eraziz, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to mispronounce his name until we get used to it. I have checked him out a little bit. He's a Grandmaster player, been around with the team for a while. He's not very well known, though, by most people at home.
One thing I do know is that Chaos is a very strong mid laner. Despite the fact that his team hasn't had much success last season, I think it's really easy to forget that Chaos is a top-tier mid laner. And giving him a top-tier character like Thoth, that alone, games aren't won in picks and bans, that alone tilts the favor in Enemy's favor.
It's awkward, but Noble knew what they were doing. And by I say they knew what they were doing, they banned Sylvanas and Ymir. They feel that they can deal with Toth in the early game. They think getting Ratatosk or Khepri will be enough of a setup for them to pick on this Toth. Now, Toth only has one mobile ability to be able to disengage from the fight. It's got great mobility.
Sure.
Someone like Ratatosk is very good at getting to that back line and trying to engage and pin them down. We'll see if it works, though, because you can see that what Enemy have drafted alongside that now in Thor and Geb is going to be very good for protecting this Toth if the Ratatosk does want to go there.
Ratatosk and Zeus, that's a combo that we just saw out of Luminosity Gaming. Baskin and his jungler, Mask, played this combination really, really strongly. Baskin winds up something like 9 kills in total. Largely, okay, the support helped out a lot, but Ratatosk was there as well.
Well, the big key of this is Zeus really likes he likes to get his ultimate off and confirm the damage. Getting his ultimate to actually deal a lot of the damage is an important factor here. Odin was very good for that in the long stage before Phantom existed. You trap him inside the ring, jobs are good, and free ultimate. The same can be said by AoE knock-up effects. Ratatosk has one, Sylvanas has one. They both do the same thing, which allows Zeus to confirm damage.
I want to bring up two interesting bans. Now, you look at the Thanatos and the Serket, that all makes sense. Same thing as Ymir and the Sylvanas. But the Cupid and the Artemis bans. Now, Artemis has been very powerful. We saw Energy try it twice. It didn't work out. But the Cupid ban, why is Cupid coming out here from Noble Esports?
Cupid's a very interesting one there in terms of their ban, because I guess they're a little bit worried about mobility. It more than likely is down to the fact they wanted to draft a Ho Yi. Ho Yi is one that likes to box and have a 1v1 fight, but up against a Cupid can really all in some of these hunters that are very good at 1v1s. Just Cupid would be the mastermind about it if you can hit the abilities.
Well, yeah, Ho Yi absolutely gets smoked out by Cupid, because either you're going to ultimate underneath him and prevent the jump, or ultimate where he's going to land with the jump, and then he's just smoked out.
And the hard bomb will bring him down as well if he's up in the sky. If he gets stunned out, he's going to hit the ground again and then have a whale of a time on the ground as well.
Kabrakan will clean up the roster or the lineup for Noble Esports. We'll see that likely on Uzi over there in the solo lane. Uzi and Chapo on the Kabrakan and the Ratatasker, like we said. Some of the console players shifting over to Noble Esports. Enemy, on the other hand, all eyes on Chaos. Let's hit the battleground and see how these guys do. Game number 1, Enemy versus Noble.
Now, we talked about Toth, and I'm going to go back to it again, because I don't think this is a lack of respect to Chaos's playstyle in the mid lane. I think this is a lack of respect from Noble, potentially towards Toth overall.
That's exactly,
I'm going to put that out now, because I think they came with a strategy here going, we can deal with Toth, but we'll see how this one works out, because the amount of peel that Enemy have set up to keep an eye on Chaos in this mid lane, there's a lot of front line, and Paydivion can play backline as a Geb as well. Gebs, more often than not, you'll see them go Blink as a second relic to do some engages, but they won't need to, having a Thor, having Eraziz on this tier as well in the solo lane to be able to be the frontliners for them and leave Chaos sat at the back line being protected by paint.
One of the things that I'm looking at for Noble here is MLC Stealth. Now, this player winds up on Noble, which is, I mean, a lot of people might just think that he outclasses his team as far as his talent is concerned. And when he brings a Zeus, it certainly might look like it. Paydivion, are you in trouble already?
No. This is a forethought from Enemy here, trying to cut them off Noble in the jungle, make sure they're not starting at any of the camps, as well as getting lane pressure. Look at this. They get to lane first by being so far up. They start to clear the wave a little bit quicker than the dual lane of Noble, and it actually puts Noble on the back foot. Not only that, the interesting thing here is Rama and Khepri are pretty close in terms of clear, whereas Ho Yi and Geb, probably about the same sort of standard for them too. Ho Yi's a little bit better now, thanks to the changes to his ricochet and his first shot dealing majority of the damage.
There's the invade coming out from Noble under the enemy speed buff. Chapo's going to be clean and clear right there. And Panda Cat and Co. go ahead and take a look at, as we call them, the little babies.
Now, the little babies, as you said, these two here, what you do is you need to kill 3 little babies in the jungle, the purple buff babies either side of that, the red buff babies. You get 3 of those, right? And that gets you to level 2 after the first wave, with 2 of you being there together. So if you can consistently do that over and over again after the first wave, you can then go in on the second wave at level 2 and clear out one of the buffs as well. There's no real response time that Noble can do on the second one. There's a little bit of hope, though, if you hit level 2, but if you get knocked up as you go for the abducts, you're going to have a bad time. And in the end, he doesn't manage to pick it up.
Yeah, cute play coming out from Pain and Beyond right there. I have a question, actually. Looking at how intense this dual lane is, basically you clear the wave, and then, as you just discussed, all the little... Do you think this is the most micro-intensive meta, if you will, that SMITE's seen?
A lot of things are going to involve in dual lane. The evolution of dual lane is going to be a thing that continues throughout the season based off item changes and maybe some god changes too. At the moment, though, it's going to be a very tricky situation because everybody's focused on push power and realizing that if you lose the push, you're going to get behind early, but it doesn't mean the end of the game outright, especially if the other side of the map is a different story.
It's just so micro-intensive. I feel like we've never seen this this sort of execution in SMITE where it's all about very specific, you know, you want to hit these little camps next to the big camps and get a certain amount of experience.
Well, I mean, that used to kind of be the case, you know, once upon a time as well. We've had times in the past where it was like, well, is starting in lane better than starting at the purple buff? You know, those sort of things. We always have these at the start of a new season, start of changes to the map or anything like that that can cause problems. That's an awkward spot for Pain. He got so lucky. He got so lucky the abduct from Wub and missed, and then the immunity kicked in for him during the rollout, so he got away. The abduct missed.
Did it miss, or was he already gold?
No, it did miss. He was not gold at the time.
Okay.
He missed the abduct, and that allowed Pain to get away from the route thanks to his CC immunity on the rollout.
So I've known Pain and Beyond for a long time. Pain and Beyond, one of the original members of SMITE, been playing since well before the launch tournament. In fact, once upon a time, laned with Jeff Hinla. But Pain, in that situation, I know exactly what he's saying. He's like, I'm dead, leave me alone. And then he giggles like crazy.
Well, look at the pressure from early on from Chapo to the solo side. I'm not surprised to see that as well. Erazi's a bit of an unknown quantity in the Pro League. The one benefit Erazi's has here is that when people watch Enemy here, they have seen Pain de Beyond put a squad together of unknown names time and time again and actually make a run at the Pro League that's been very, very decent.
Yeah.
So seeing this guy come on, everyone's like, who's the new kid? Well, I'm like, well, Pain chose him, so... he kind of knows what he's doing.
More often than not, I am thinking negatively when I see a question mark. When I see Pain with a question mark, I'm thinking neutral. It just gets the auto upgrade to neutral.
I don't think question mark. I think best of luck is all I can go over. Best of luck. Hope your first set goes well. But with it being Erazi's here on the side with Enemy, we'll see if it's a different situation this time around as well, or it's business as usual for the likes of Pain to be on an Enemy.
It's actually really interesting when it comes down to Enemy, because this is the first time in a while that they've been able to translate or transfer almost a full squad. I mean, it's everybody but the solo lane. And this has been over 2 years since we've seen Enemy be able to retain a roster going from year to year outside of Chaos and Pain to Beyond.
And they've been the backbone for it for the most part. Panda Cat has been in and out, not because necessarily he wasn't the one they wanted on the roster or he wanted to leave the roster. I think it was just more down to home life more than anything else, interfering with some of his play. But now with Marauder no longer on the squad, Erazi's added to it, we're going to have to see how this solo lane works out. And if he can bring the same sort of thing Marauder did eventually as the season progressed.
Right now, teams are separated by about 700 gold, which is the reason I bring it up is because First Blood has yet to happen. So that 700 gold lead for Enemy it's nothing to celebrate, right? 700 gold is close to being tied, but it's just a point to how well they're farming, looking for the First Blood. Panda Cat's going to go up. He's going to shoot some shots. He's going to come down. And he's going to get smoked.
Thor might come down, though, to turn this one around a little bit.
Too late.
Didn't manage to find Chapo there. You can see what Verizia was looking for. But at the moment you saw Panda Cat go to the sky, it confirmed his death already.
Yeah.
If he would have purified or noticed the Ratatoskr ult coming in beforehand, purified early, he could have potentially survived.
Pain to Beyond gets grabbed. Beautiful stun wall coming out from Verizial right there. Pain to Beyond still might be in trouble. He's slow. The rollout's going to take a moment, but he finds it. Verizial shows up. Gem Shield is available, but instead it'll just be the meditation coming out from Pain. Just Wonderful teamwork right there from the support and
Yeah.
the jungler. They helped each other out twice.
What I wanted to see more from that was MLC Stealth on the Zeus. He really played with his team well then. He trusted in his support to confirm the abduct and immediately dropped the ultimate as well. It was just a good heads-up play from Verizial to drop the wall down in response to make sure that Pain didn't end up being destroyed by the Zeus ultimate.
And that, I mean, people, that is a very tough play. You can very easily trap your support player.
Definitely.
You have to have surgical precision right there. So I'm glad to see Verizial come out and make the play. Ozzy gets Fearless out of the tower thanks to a Ruzies.
So far, so good for Noble, though. I've seen Chapo gank solo, gank duo, and he's trying to show presence both places. The one place he's not showing presence to is the mid laner, though.
Yeah.
And that mid laner, Chaos on Toth, which we mentioned earlier on, has gone Doomob this game as well. Now, Doomob is a fantastic item if you can keep the stacks up and play safe. If he's allowed to just continue doing this, Toth could become a problem.
Ozzy might be a problem right now. He'll just walk away.
Chapo's up, though, in mid lane right now. I think he was looking for a pick somewhere, but unfortunately, no one's around.
Very interesting play coming out from the soul laner in the jungle, just letting go of the gas. Right here, Verizial's going to be attacked, and he'll go up and ultimate safely under his own tower.
Solid damage there coming out from Ratatoska. Chapo did good work with the Bluestone Pendant as well. Really does apply that extra damage, as you can see, and it didn't really hurt. Pandacat, though, wants to kind of return the favor to Wowie now, but Wowie's going to get good Sun Ultimate off. And now it's just a small misplay from Pandacat. He took the trade, he didn't win the trade well. Could have beads to try and reduce the slow on the Suns in the ultimate to potentially get out of it. But the damage from the Suns is just too good. You can't disrespect them.
Yeah, miscalculation there coming out from Pandacat. Had Panda got into the sky, wow, he dies there. It is that simple. That's how close that was. Panda just misses the sky by a single basic attack, and wow, he winds up winning the trade. Noble look for the Gold Fury after the fact, but quickly walk away. They see the rotation coming out from Pain.
Well, you got Chaos with the Doomob as well on that Toth as well. Final Judgment does a lot of damage from a lot of range. Woman's in trouble here for a second. Luckily enough, the stun missed from Chaos. And Stealth did a very good zoning ultimate there, actually, just to negate the situation a little bit.
Yeah, I want you to go deeper into that, because a lot of times people say zoning ultimate the same way they say tactical feed, you know, with their jebaited look on.
Here's the deal, right? This is the situation. Bro, you want the kill? Cool. Walk through the damage first of all,
Exactly.
right? You might get the kill, but maybe we'll turn it around after that, or I'll also kill you in trade. So you've got to try and... It's risk versus reward then at that point. It's like, well, maybe we get the kill on the support, but do we really want to lose somebody as well? Okay, let's peel back a little bit, play a bit safer.
I love that type of play. A lot of times that type of play goes over a lot of casual viewers' heads because they don't really anticipate that. So understanding that sometimes, especially a giant ult, you'll see that being used for the Suns as well.
Oh, there is in a bit more trouble here. This time round again, taking a lot more damage. Didn't have to use his ult this time, but
Double whiff.
Chapo's doing good work here. I say that, but look at Erizi's there, forcing Chapo out as well. Good little bit of work from Ozzy, though, to slow that down. Couldn't do too much, though, without his stuns being available.
Tier level 11, gonna head in the jungle. He's gonna meet up with Wubbin.
He's doing great work so far, though. But man, he's 2 levels up, sorry, just about a level up on Ozzy at least right now as Wubbin's trying to defend this one. But if they continue to remove this blue buff away from the Guardian solo laner, it's going to be impactful.
At the moment, 2 kills to none. I still want to see. I want to see Thoth do something. It's early, and this isn't when Thoth does something.
Not
I understand that.
The main thing with Toth early is you want to get the stacks online.
Exactly.
From his passive, not necessarily just the Doom Mob. The passive gives him the extra penetration for his kit for free, and he just needs to level up to get to the next level of those stacks as well. So the deeper the game goes, the more free damage he's going to do because he's going to shred protections.
Oracle's being fought over. This is hilarious. Both players and teams sort of juking and leashing and very fun stuff.
But we did the right thing there by killing one first of all, and then not trying to focus both at the same time. You need at least one. It's better safe than sorry.
There's a dive. Ozzy might be in trouble, and he is. Verizial gets the kill off of the assist from his own solo laner. Chapo is also going to be in trouble. He takes to the sky after...
Good pop. Good pop.
Ooh.
Really good pop there overall. The bad news is Chapo's ultimate does not go on cooldown off that as well. He wasn't in the sky at the time. The animation was still going through. So actually, that's a net win for Noble overall because the Chapo saves his ult, could still come back if they needed to, and they sneak away the Gold Fury on the exit.
And you hear Chaos groan about it.
Yeah, that's all Tough does. It's a good way of putting it. Now we can groan all day long.
Thoth guy gonna go ahead and miss his opportunity to go ahead and steal. And that Gold Fury for Noble is gonna answer back all of the devastation that enemy got. And enemy were able to pick up a kill and then make some nonsense happen. Noble picks up the gold, tie game.
I don't care about the gold though, and it's not a tie game. That experience lead is actually really big on the side of enemy here. 3,000 experience lead at 10 minutes in. That's a big question mark of why are they so far behind now, Noble? Are they not sharing camps correctly?
Sure.
Are they losing too much of their jungle in the early stages here so far? You can clearly tell the enemy are doing a much better job of synchronizing and getting this experience lead. Experience is free damage, free survivability, 3 extra cooldown on some of your abilities as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that you want to keep an eye on. You don't want to be more than 3 levels away from your opposition, but a level or 2. A level 2 is questionable. Chapo takes a big hit and poke.
Agreed with that too. One level's normal, and it can go either way at a level, and supports is the different example where it can be up to 2 levels behind, and that's still fine.
Even in the solo lane here, specifically because Uzi's playing the Cabrakan, I'm less concerned about the 1.5 level lead here for Aruzi's. If he had been, for example, if that's a Ratatasker solo, that's abysmal.
Well, Ozzy could be finding himself in a bit more trouble again. He's going to stun Varizio, which is wise, and a great double stun onto both of them, but here's more rotations.
Oh.
And there's Chaos making an impact straight away with the final judgment. Just bloop, and there's 500 health gone.
That is not what that sounds like whatsoever. It sounds like a cannon.
Bloop.
Bloop.
Bloop. I mean, that's what Ozzy's health bar. That's what Ozzy said. There you go. Bloop.
That might be a little bit more accurate. But
Here's
here
some
comes the
pressure.
response.
That's better. That's what we need to see Noble do. If you're going to let them get tough, you need to make sure it's on the back foot. You can't let them get those Dumo stacks up.
Another duel. Panicat not taking it this time. Not going to take it this time. And yeah, Noble, it's almost like they forgot that they gave Chaos Thoth, and they just sort of sat there, and then as soon as he made an impact, they make the impact. Chapel gets caught out by Pain to Beyond. Here comes help for the solo lane of Ruzi's. Chapel's in trouble, gets the kill, but he's killed by the Suns after the fact. MLC stealth, very low HP. Panicat waiting for the shield to wear off, and he won't get it, but looking for the chase by himself. Here comes over the top of Ruzi's. Couple of basics to take out MLC. Panicat's taking the damage. He's going to get detonated. See you later, MLC. From a distance, take it out, Panda.
So Pandacat right now, to me, is just not on his game today. Nah. I can tell that already. The roll-in against Wowie early on, the choice to ult instead of beads against a Ratatosker ultimate. Panda's not playing the way we've seen him play before in the past. And that engagement there as well, we would have seen him land those snipes beforehand. That situation wouldn't have been created. He would have got a kill before that happened, or at least reset the Khepri ultimate once more. So with Panda being a little bit down on his luck today, at least that's how it's showing here, it's going to have to rely on enemy to step it up elsewhere now. And Erezis is doing just that from the solo lane. That was a very good rotation from him, and now he's got a substantial 3-level lead now. That's something to definitely talk about.
Yeah, that's 100%. The real big thing is that the rookie is stepping it up right here in lieu of, honestly, the star. I think you look at Chaos and Panicat as the 2 veterans here, and Chaos is kind of quietly the mid lane star, but Panicat's the flash. He's the guy that winds up on the highlight reels, and like you said, I mean, he's just, this guy's a great player. He's just not showing up today. Hopefully he can bounce back in game number 2.
And Chaos really shines on these sort of gods that he's playing now. Very similar to a Giannis in terms of sit at the back line, support his team in ways that you wouldn't necessarily notice, but deal a lot of damage too. He likes his Agony for the same reason. Drop the bombs to the back line, set things up, allow his team to do the work on the forefront while just providing consistent damage.
Zeus and Giannis, also very prevalent characters in his god pool.
This is good.
Right side, fight started off by enemy. Nice, fearless in the power cleave. Chapo saved up by his support player, but Chaos waiting there, gets the shotgun. Woman's in trouble as well. Beautiful ultimate from Uzi, but over the top comes Rizio. The walls can't stop that. Down from the sky comes the Thor. Another kill for enemy.
That's on Uzi more than anybody else there. Unless the communication was called from Uzi, he was pushing the tier 1 tower on the right hand side with the solo laner being missing. That needs to be called from him, and if it is called from him, the team need to respect that call that he was missing. In the end, they had 2 people wrapping around the back enemy there onto the whole team of Noble, and Noble just didn't have an answer because Uzi was 1 man out of the way as well.
He just wasn't there with the rest of the squad. Definitely need to see that communication be picked up a little bit. Uzi now building into, well, it's the hybrid item Voidstone, but this is more offensive for me than it is defensive here on the solo lane Cabrakan. So Uzi's still looking to do some damage.
He's looking to do damage, but he's also setting up more damage for Zeus for stealth in the mid lane as well. That's one of the reasons you get this, because you're going to be in the mix. You're going to be in melee range the whole time, which means they're reducing the protections of the enemy magical-wise, which means Zeus does more.
Here the portal has been taken out by enemy. They're going to stay local and at least look for a fight by the Fire Giant. Whether or not they want to take the Fire Giant is a different story, but I think they certainly want the fight.
So strategy so far from this game has been see Chapo's jungle position be rotate to every lane, try and support and get them ahead. Meanwhile, Verizial has very much so sat on this right-hand side, focusing Uzi down, getting Erezi's a big lead, and not necessarily focusing for kills, but also focusing on making sure he steals away this blue buff on cooldown every single time.
Ruzis looks like he's getting the better of this lane, but every now and then, Uzi turns around and just smacks him in the mouth for a huge chunk of damage.
The only difference is, though, Tay's got a heal. So you'll be fine over the roll. The heal did get nerfed in the latest patch, though, so it's not as huge as it once was in a 1v1 fight, but in a minion wave fight, you're going to be okay.
Big plays right there, double stun, and plus the ultimate coming out from Uzi. He meditates himself.
Big fight left, though, going on.
Tasker shows up on the left-hand side. Verizial's looking for it as well. Lands, just barely gets wowie.
But he does get the Aegis off to prevent the damage off that as well, so both teams will slowly fall back to safety here. Generally, even trade overall, ults for ults used. You can see, though, the enemy have a few more available to their name, though, which can come into play around this Gold Fury.
Here comes the flank. Ooh, Chapo barely escapes. You saw the pincer maneuver coming out from the enemy right there. Chapo absolutely needs to get out of there.
But that's the difference there, where Chapo hears the call that Pain's coming behind him, immediately dips, whereas Uzi in the solo lane before, they didn't know he was behind him clearly, or they didn't respect the call from Uzi. Either one is the correct answer there.
Ruzi's going for
Feeling
it.
himself now, isn't he?
Right on top of the tower, gets a power clean, hits a fearless, taking a lot of damage here. Uzi's just gonna back in his face.
I mean, I like the idea. It would have looked great for the highlight reel of your opening game of the Pro League into SPL territory to make a nice highlight reel play of diving a tower. But at the same time, did you need to?
So here's actually, I don't mind that play simply because that was the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is you blow all your abilities, you miss everything, you tank the tower for far too long. But who cares? You lost maybe 3% of your HP bar?
There's always like opinions of how that could have gone, because imagine if Chapo was in the jungle at the same time and you dive in a tower, you got no ult to escape now, and then a stealth turns up with a Zeus. But if the team knew about where the positioning was of other people as well, yada yada. But the Gold Fury started by Panda here. I like this call. He is on his own though, and you can see the reaction immediately from Noble just to be like, no, not this time.
Exactly. You go for it. You go ahead, you start it, and when somebody shows up, you go, all right, you caught me. You just walk away. Everybody's polite about it. It's like, all right, sure. Not going to make too much of a big deal about it. Uzi's still battling it out against Aruzi's here in the short lane.
But the fight around the Gold Fury continues. Rubbins of Ducks actually hurt him more than it helped him. And I don't think Final Judgment hit over the wall then from Chaos. He did fire it looking for the play on Wubbin, but he didn't get the range he was looking for. It was just outside the range.
Uzi sticking here in the solo lane along with Aruzi's. Everybody else generally on the Gold Fury side of the fight. Oh, he actually looks like he's just flirting.
These two are not going to kill each other now. It's not really possible to kill each other. It was close a minute ago for Aruzi to really try and pick up Uzi, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon now. With Breastplate of Valor Online and Voidstone, they're both going to survive. They've got both situations of being tanky and one with sustain. There's no point tuning into solo lane until one's at a tower.
I love MLC stealth, man. The E-Staff has changed drastically, but this is his old build and he's just sticking with it.
But the E-Staff is good. The E-Staff is actually, it's like a mini Soul Reaver is the best way to talk about that item now. It does allow you to get a bit of a mini Soul Reaver proc on the first ability use. Granted, it does have a cooldown internally on it, but it is useful to get a bit more damage out.
It's from looking at MLC's build, and also, sure, I cheated. I talked to him a lot about these things. It's not about it's just the health. 200 HP is I mean, when you're
used to be
playing
a lot more health, but this is a risky play at the Gold Fury. Gold Fury does go down, and it goes the way of enemy there by the looks of that one, and now the fight continues.
Yeah, it's a big play coming out. It's going to stretch their lead to about 4,000 to 5,000. Rob's in the sky. Panic Cat gets one, only one on his target. Triple stun coming out from Pain and Beyond. More defensive than offensive. Enemy take the Gold Fury, and one of them wants to fight. Verizial's up there. Nobody else can even come close.
And it's mainly because, once again, Stealth ulted defensively again. Well, offensively, but it created a big zone for the hand to fall back again, enemy. Arizy's falling down for that. I'm okay with that if I'm enemy right now. He was already a monster in that lane anyway. He had a 3-level lead over Ozzy anyway.
Right.
So him falling for that, it's like, no harm, no foul. You know, that's not going to work out too bad for us. But we did get the Gold Fury, which jumps us in the lead again.
Good plays coming out from enemy here. And this was one of the bigger questions coming into this split. We talked about earlier about how this roster had not gone through as many changes as some of the others, despite the fact, perhaps, that I think last season in the fall split, don't forget, this is a team that had to defend through relegation.
That's true.
And they didn't change their roster too much outside of a single player. This is a team that I think is a better squad than their win-loss from last split would tell you. The question is, how much better is enemy than they showed us in the fall?
The real key with enemy here is that when they first came into the league last year with this same squad, minus Arizy's here, is that you looked at them and you went, all right, probably bottom seed because they're a new team of all rookies that have never really been together before. So, all right, we'll see. But they didn't. Instead, what they did is they climbed the leaderboard to the top of the slide, right? And at the top of the slide after the spring split, they then decided to get on the slide and slide down it. And they did that all the way to the end of the year. As slowly but surely, in the end, it seems Marauder fell off the slide at the bottom, and the rest of the team got back up the ladder and is trying to climb it again.
Well, so there was a lot of issues right there for Verizio going to cause an issue on the left side, landing behind Wowie. Not going to find the stun either.
Misses the stun, misses the wall, and now the turnaround play could be fair for Chapo to turn on. Verizio's going to take a lot of damage from this one, but overall, they're holding their own with Pain coming in too with the shields. It's nothing happens, ult for ults.
That's going to be the disengage right there, 100%. And, you know, ooh, okay.
I know,
thought Aruzi's was looking over the top.
After seeing Aruzi's in that solo lane against Ozzy a minute ago, I'm like, he could feel himself on this one again and look for the big play. I can see it.
Yeah, I really thought we were going to see Aruzi's over the top, but enemy with a threat on the left side of the map.
What do you reckon it is? Do you reckon it's Aruzi's, or is it like Urizi's? Like Ulysses, so Urizi's.
So I don't think it's Aruzi's.
You don't?
I think it
is
might
it like
be
Ulysses, but said Aruzi's? That sort of way?
I'm pretty sure it's So if you're following traditional English,
it's pretty much what. Is that what we're going to call him? Okay.
That's what we're going to call him.
It sounds like you've been sick.
Oh, big play
from
coming
Ozzy.
out there from Ozzy. Trap Pain to Beyond, and it's going to be right there down the line for the mid lane Thoth. No big deal. Pain to Beyond just plays it safe and shields himself.
Look what Chaos did there, though, is he just brought down the wall with the help of Aruzi's in the mid lane as well. Just to bring down those walls and make sure Cabrakan's not as impactful as he can be. Bringing that wall down is very important.
Oh, trying to escape right there. Ozzy gets a stun, but not going to be enough. And Noble will regroup. They're down by 5K, which is still totally fightable. Noble, they can and they will fight. And looks like it's going to be this tier 1 tower that's the next objective. Verizio leading the charge, waiting for it. Here comes the tier. He's going to get rooted out by the support.
Tower's already down, though. Now Chapo's in the sky, as is Verizio, man for man. Chapo's going to hang until Verizio comes down, really. He can do it a little bit longer overall. Notice where Verizio was aiming then. He was looking at his boys going, land, rat, land, because the moment you do, I'm going to smash you in the ground straight afterwards.
That's the idea. That's the idea. It used to be the old Thor, Thanatos follows Thanatos. Now it's the Ratatasker as well. That these characters, the idea is you're just going to follow. I'm going to follow. And that's why we noted early for Noble that Chapo is ganking the mid lane and the duo lane. It's very important. Both of these characters want to keep the pace of the game high. We looked at a match earlier where First Blood came 15 minutes in.
Yep.
And then it was a very slow game. Much different story here, and it's because of the characters you select. When you pick these global junglers, you have to keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah, you do have more impact across the map very, very quickly to turn a fight or even just cause an argument more often than not between the two that are generally in lane together. I do want to see Noble, though, like we talked about grouping up here, I think they should have probably relinquished that tier 1 tower without trying to go aggressive anyway, because of the fact that Ozzy's ultimate was already on cooldown from the previous engagement. What they need to do, though, is play around Stealth now. Stealth's 3-0-1, level 17, not too far behind Chaos, has a ton of potential damage here as well. They need to go back to the sort of strategy we saw coming out from Allegiance last year, which is protect Stealth, let Stealth get his damage off. They can do that in this game right now with how it's looking, and Wowie has been holding his own in the Hunter role, and actually ahead of PandaCat still in terms of kills, maybe not in terms of itemization and experience, though.
So I'm going to go to the other direction, that I don't think Noble should play Protect the MLC Stealth. Half HP on this Gold Fury. That's a free Gold Fury.
You're too late. On the rotation was just too late round.
Yeah, far too late.
Most of that is down to the tier 1 tower in mid being down already. Because you've got to play a little bit further back than you would like to. Your tower line is invisible there, and so you've got to fall back further than that. You don't have an opportunity to play as far up, and in the end, that positional advantage just gave him free reign for that Gold Fury.
So going back to the strategy discussion for Noble, I wouldn't like to see them protect the MLC stealth, because I think there's a lot of talent on the other side.
Hold that thought. Arizi's in a bit of trouble there, gets a nice shield coming down from Geb. The Demon does go down the way of enemy, but it looks like they may still want to fight here.
Chapo, he's trouble in the back line, gonna go ahead and go to the sky. Veriziel also gonna safely ultimate out. Noble has made their retreat, and the Fire Demon Portal guy minion boss is going to be toppled for enemy and his team.
And there's a difference in enemy there that we saw at the start of last year, where they win a trade, and instead of continuing to push the advantage or overextend sometimes and maybe bite off more than they can chew, they just accepted the win and fell back. As the season progressed last year, that wasn't the case. They'd maybe win a small fight and then try and continue that fight, and it came back to haunt them.
Ozzy's here by himself, looking for a start on the backside, and you got a rat up in the sky as well. Gonna land down, find the knockup on the jungle, and then look for Thoth damage. Safety is going to be out of the Thoth, and Chaos will turn around on Chapo.
Meanwhile, the front line, the fight's still going on here as well. Erizis will get over the wall with the Lawbringer back to safety, but now that allows enemy to chase down Noble as they run back into their own jungle as well.
And there's the flip backwards, full retreat from Noble. Everybody disperse. Enemy will start the fire jar.
And that play there was all chaos. Just so you know, that whole little engagement there was chaos. What he did was he saw Chapo in the sky on Ratatoska and immediately backsteps, stuns, all-ins Chapo, deleted Rat. And maybe deleted Stealth here?
Veriziel's waiting. Gonna land right on top of the Zeus. There's a nice combo, but the Aegis will protect him. Here comes a Rat and puts MLC Stealth right there in the jaw lines. Veriziel gets the kill.
And now Woman in trouble too. The body blocks from Erizis there is actually really strong as well. There's a kill over to the tier as well. The Fire Giant was reset, however, but with the constant rotation of cooldowns of Noble's death timers here, it's always going to be man advantages. Erizis waited. Was he bad there with that Lawbringer? Not going to find it. His team, though, they should get the fight here.
My man Chaos right there. Fantastic stuff. So if you see, you can actually, the window that you use to amplify the Thoth abilities, you can actually hide in the geometry of the map. Chaos puts the window right on the back wall of that buff camp, so that when he fires off the one, you actually don't see the window, you don't see it coming, and he slams everybody down that corridor off of the fantastic control from Aruzis. Listen, man, this is day one, game one. I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm not going to get too crazy, but I'm very happy with what I'm seeing out of this unknown entity, Aruzis.
He looks very interesting for now as well, but then again, you've got to take into account who his lane opponent is right now. He's someone who's going to be very much alongside him in Ozzy on the side of Noble. Ozzy's new to the Pro League as well, very similar to Sinosure and Chapo, both coming across from the console side of things. They understand the game, they understand the mechanics of it, but the PC level is different. It's not necessarily harder or easier, it's different based off turning circles, based off rotations.
Right.
A lot of different things happen, and Ozzy's trying to establish himself here as well. Nerves can come into play for first dayers as well. That's one thing you'll notice. When you get on the big boy stage, all of a sudden you panic.
I mean, we saw that Chapo is notoriously a stoic, unshakable individual, and we saw him in relegation clearly get in his own head. So when it comes down to the big stage of the PC world, I think that a lot of these players can definitely do that. I think Ozzy is stronger than most people will anticipate when it comes down to it. In reality, Graham?
I think he will be, but at the same time, we're comparing Arizis to Ozzy, and we can't compare Arizis to the rest of the other solo laners in the Pro League as time goes on.
I was also going to follow up my positive statement with the fact that he's also just playing tier.
That is also true. But tier did take a bit of a hit, so we've not seen massive amounts of him just yet, but he's still a solid pick overall.
He's still a fantastic choice.
He's got probably the best level 1 out of any solo laner right now, I want to say, just because he can change stance and clear the wave in full with a blue stone at the start.
Nice little start, or a nice little chase out onto El Chapo there.
Stealth left alone, Stealth cut out, Panda's got him. That was a big play. That's actually probably two
huge.
Phoenixes.
That's huge.
Just because they picked off Stealth there, that's easily
Why
two
is he
Phoenixes.
there?
I think he was trying to flank around the back there and walked into Panda Cat, who was also there at the same time. Did need some protection, and at the same time, Woobin was nowhere to be found to give him the ultimate.
Fantastic stuff. Here comes Aruzi with the control. Uzi's going to have the ultimate from Kepri on him, just in case. There's a fantastic one from Pain to Beyond, setting up Chaos, the mid laner, to take down Uzi. Panda Cat on the flank, looking for the basics, rolls forward to the sky. One shot is good. He's going to immune it, waiting out the Aegis, not strong enough, but Chaos finishes off Wowie, while Panda finishes off the Phoenix exactly as their roles would imply, and we'll see the enemy shift over to the mid.
They were already in a good position anyway, enemy there with the Fire Giant and pushing on, but that last pick by Panda Cat kind of made up for his poor performance at the start here, because picking stealth in the jungle, finding that 1v1 and winning it, actually just closed the game out pretty much now. 2 Phoenixes down off this 1 Fire Giant and all the tier 2 towers. Good shape, as well as a Gold Fury to back it up as well.
Panda Cat with the classic through the wall shots over there onto the tier 2 tower. Love that play. We'll also opt to take out the Gold Fury. Very fast attack speed, you can see here. There are 2 major mindsets going on right now. Noble here, you can see on the other side, Wowie building into the crit coming out from the Hunters. Usually you'll see this paired with Devo Gloves is a big power, big massive power, but here we just see the crit built without the power bank. On the left side, your enemy Hunter grabs the no crit build and instead going to the attack speed and the chin side.
And the Jin side can be very useful for the frontline targets of the likes of Uzi here and the Guardian Woobin as well. They're going to be building a little bit tankier, so you can shred through that a little bit more as time goes on. The Fatalis in that build as well just gives them so much more mobility for in and out, especially when you've got the rollout as well, so the roll on Rama to just reposition if you do get in an awkward spot.
Fatalis, it's fun, so funny how 10 penetration takes an item from a silly luxury item that maybe 1 or 2 characters require into a universally purchasable item.
It does. It really does. I love that play from left-hand side there. You see how all Nobler groups on the left, they were trying to flank round and try and find a pick. Unfortunately, enemy weren't around there. That's the happy thing I do like about Noble right now, though, is that in this set, even though they are losing this set overall, they are trying to fight back. They're not sat back and they've not been the ones to just react to everything enemy's done. They've been proactive. They've tried to make things happen for themselves. Even though they are losing, they are still putting up a fight.
And see, that is a round of applause to Noble, but it's also a question mark to enemy. You're 20,000 gold up. What's stopping you?
Right now, just waiting for the second Fire Giant. This is super safe day 1 nerves, you know? Like, just play it safe, get the Fire Giant, and then we'll go for the Phoenix, and yada, yada, yada. We see this a lot of the time as time goes on.
I guess.
But we've seen people make mistakes in this situation where they try and siege, they lose the fight, they lose the Fire Giant, then they lose the Phoenix themselves, and we're back to a square game.
My eyes are closed. I don't want to think about it. I don't even want to think about playing it safe. These guys should go hard right now. Enemy going to clean up the free Fire Giant. Noble, what are they doing over there? Noble, they're planning something.
I don't know. I mean, they're trying to sneak around. They're trying to catch them coming up mid lane or something. That seems to be the key here.
Yeah, I think that was
From what I can tell is they pushed out a wave, let their minions spawn, trying to catch them collapsing in mid, but instead it's them themselves. It's a trap. Noble said it, and it's the enemy that are going to execute it.
Brizio completely off the mark, but Aruzis gets the mid lane MLC stealth. Chapo activates the Sanctuary for a moment, dashes forward and dashes to his death. Panda Cat and Chaos pick up 1 as well. Uzi, the only one alive, and the Titan is the target. There goes to the sky, the Hunter. But enemy win game number 1 in dominating fashion. Another kill for your rookie tier. 17-6, just over a half hour of play. Enemy take game 1.
They do take game 1, and they take it in good fashion as well. Veriziel was a little bit slow